I can tell you it was not only healing, it was a mystical experience. The beings of light were there.
She was at the event where we were measuring HRVs. We have her HRV in real time. What we discovered, we're looking at her strip chart of her heart rate variability, and somehow when the beings appear, it stops measuring.
I was at Healy 2 months ago here in Denver, and it was my first long week retreat. So I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. But I can tell you it was not only healing, it was a mystical experience. The beings of light were there, and I saw them. So I want to share with you why I came here. I have several symptoms that began in 2020 when my husband died of cancer. And I thought I was handling well the proper way, the psychologists and all this stuff, but I had anxiety, dizziness, I had vertigo, I was fainting, I was having seizures, I was falling unconscious. I was having a lot of digestive issues because I'm also a pancreatic cancer survivor, so I had a lot of limitations regarding food. So I was, to say the least, a mess, a bunch of things. But the bottom line for me was in December, this December 2024, I went to visit my mother in Colombia, and I fell unconscious in a parking lot. And I thought I cannot continue living this way. Something has to change. I didn't know exactly what I will do, but somehow the website of Dr. Dispenza kept showing up in my computer and my cell phone and everywhere. And I thought, well, I need to go there. And I was so fortunate that when I was applying for the retreat, it asked about if I wanted to be a Healy. So I list kind of my long list of all the issues I had. And I had no idea what a Healy meant. So I was thoroughly amazed by the experience. It was very powerful. The day of the Coherence Healing, when the healers were walking in the room, and Dr. Joe has already given us instruction to relax. I saw these beings of light coming, walking with the healers, and getting around close to where the pots were. And as they were coming, and the healers were sitting, I saw like the beings of light, these beings were kind of blending their hands with the hands of the healers when they sent the energy. And it was so powerful. I felt like lightning coming through my stomach, and it went all the way up. When it got to my heart, it was so strong. I was thinking I was having a heart attack. But I kept having peace because the first 2 days of the retreat, my husband came nearly in every meditation. And he told me that higher beings were going to be here and to trust. And otherwise, I would have freaked out and left the room. But I trusted because he said that it was good. So the light came, I have this big scream, and then I felt like my body really literally like floating. I could feel my back off the ground, and I was moving so geometrical. It was not just shaking. I had seizures before, so I know it wasn't like a seizure. It was all these patterns, just like Dr. Joe mentioned, like electromagnetic. It was just very, very organized geometry. And then when I lay down on the ground, this being came to my head, and he lifted my head. Actually, it was on this side. Lifted my head, and put like his finger inside my ear. It was very warm. It wasn't painful at all. It was very warm, and I felt it going all the way kind of to my brain. And I was a little bit scared. I was afraid, and I actually kind of asked what is happening. And they told me, do you like spas, right? And I said, yes. And they said, well, just think you're in a spa. And I'm like, okay. So they kept doing that, and then this being grabbed my head and moved it side to side, just like if I was in a chiropractic office, in my neck. And I had some injuries from a previous car accident, so I heard my neck kind of like just like they mentioned, like click, 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 and then it was fine. I really didn't experience any pain at all. And it kept doing that through my body, several areas of my body, and my stomach, and my legs. It was like, actually, they're funny because they were moving my hips, and I was like, what's happening? And they said, do you like dancing, right? And I'm like, yes. So they were like, well, that's it. And I haven't experienced any of the symptoms at all. Actually, many other things got healed as a result. I had a deviated septum, and the doctors have told me that I needed to have surgery because it was creating a lot of sinus problems. My nose cleared up. I don't need any surgery. I don't need anything. I can breathe with both nostrils. So I'm grateful. Now I know that this is a big part of how I can do my meditations. I can really breathe. I wasn't breathing for a long time. I mean, that was 20 years ago when I had an accident. I broke my nose. So it has been a lot of healing, and I'm so grateful, and I was so nervous about talking about the beings of light, but since today there were other participants on screen, and you are going to Coherence Healing, all I can say is trust, just be open, because they're here, and they help, and this is not to undermine all the power of each one of the healers. It only makes it stronger, bigger, and more powerful.
Aw, thank you so much. Yesterday, when we had Janice on the stage telling her story, I found it so profound, because it takes a lot for a person, they have that experience and they kind of keep it to themselves, and they think, this is, kind of crazy, And then all of a sudden other people start talking about it, and then people come out and they say, oh my God, I had that same experience, and it healed me. And I love the fact that she had a connection with her husband. And he said, you got to trust the unknown. You trust this. It's going to be, it's different. And that was the exact thing that she's an educated person. She said I was going to leave. And so she has a big moment, and these beings appear, and I'm always mystified by the testimonies. I walk off the stage, and Kevin is back there right away, and he's like, she was at the event in Denver where we were measuring HRVs. We have her HRV in real time. Now, I just want to give you just a little premise to this, right? He says we have the data. We can measure what was happening to her. We have it recorded because she's wearing a monitor during the healing. And I'm like, go get it. Why? What is that? That's information. There's information there. Just her subjective experience could actually become objective. We could actually measure it. Come on, you with me? So then Kevin's like, okay, and he goes running to Roland. Roland's like, okay. And then Roland calls the scientists at the HeartMath, Mike, and Mike's at work until 10 o'clock at night last night, finding the data, capturing it, putting on a chart, right? So then I meet these guys for breakfast, and they're both like this. I'm like, what? What? They're like, oh, you're not going to believe this. All right, so listen. Now listen. Roland is a scientist, right? He's nuts and bolts. He rolls his sleeves up. He's math. He's hardware. He's software. He's got it all in there. But what we discovered, we're looking at her strip chart of her heart rate variability, and somehow when the beings appear, it stops measuring. And then it comes back, and then it disappears again. So we're gonna, Roland, come on out. You want to sit here? Sit here.
Okay, so we want to show this?
Yeah, let's show it.
So I was on the phone last night with our guy Mike, and he's like, Roland, this is really weird. So basically, this is HRV during it was really cool. I mean, you told the story really great there, but I was sitting at the back of the room yesterday when Janice shared her story, and I went, wait a minute, Denver? That's where we're doing one of the studies recording Healy's, right?
Yeah.
What if, just in case, Janice was one of the people? So we were back there scrambling to find out, and sure enough. So basically, here's where Janice was already in the room, and Dr. Joe's addressing the Healy's, right? Her heart rate's up. This is 100 here, right? So she's in the 90s, laying down. So you talk about activation.
Arousal.
Arousal, yeah, there it is. And then it's kind of hard to see because it's scrunched together over a long time period here, but there's some pretty nice periods of what we would call heart rhythm coherence in here. But then this happens right after the healers. Well, Dr. Joe's giving the instructions here to the healers. The data just stops. Just doesn't happen normally. I mean, yes, if an electrode falls off, but it doesn't turn back on. Like we see here, and then it happened again over here, all during the part in Janice's log where she said these beings were there working on her. So Joe, next time you talk to him, tell him just to quit messing with her equipment.
But to me, like, what it means to me, because we were asking them, what does it mean? Like, to me, these guys are outside of time. They're outside of time. There's no time to record anything. They're outside of time. It's happening outside of time. I mean, that's my hypothesis. But, also what we were saying, Roland said, well, it could just be like a big frequency interference, like they're just a lot of energy. Like, what? It could be interference. Or they could just say, excuse me, you don't get to see. We're going to just do this. Who knows?
Yeah. That's what I think I'll point out over here after the healing. The healers, you put your hands back over your heart. There's a really interesting rhythm here. This is also kind of unusual, especially at these heart rates. That's what we would call a very low frequency rhythm. That's also got periods of coherence spaced in between the peaks. So
tell them about very low frequency.
Okay, very low frequency is give context here. When we look at HRV, it's really a measure and a study of rhythm, the heart rhythms. And there are multiple rhythms. I mean, there's actually 6 of them, all embedded in that rhythm when you look deeply enough. And this one that's about a 5-minute rhythm is called the very low frequency. That's what we're seeing here. It's the most important rhythm in terms of predicting future health and healing. If it's low, that rhythm's depressed, that's the one that we start being worried about people, right? So to see that highly amplified like that is pretty cool.
Did you get that? We caught a fish.
Yeah.
Caught a fish.
Yeah.
Big fish.
Yeah, so. Anyway, that's the prize of the night last night. So 2 periods when the buddies, as I call them, were there. They said, sorry, you can't see the data.
Awesome. Isn't that cool?
Cool.
There's more information in the unseen than there is in the seen. There's more information in the immaterial than there'll ever be in the material. You just have to change your consciousness and change your energy, and something wonderful, something unknown is there. And once again, the subjective experience was very real for her, but what matters the most is what the effects it produced in her body. The effects changed her biology as a result of it. It was an experience for her. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody that goes into coherence healing should be asking for an angel or a guide or whatever. It's not the purpose of that. The purpose of that is you just have to be open to whatever. And that is the mystery of all of this. She had a wonderful experience that was transcendental in some way. She didn't judge it. She didn't try to control it. She trusted. And there's a kind of redundancy, there's a kind of a similarity in experience with each person who gets, has an interaction with these beings. There's kind of a common thing where they have a sense of humor. They do. They really do that. They have told me on the stage to sit up straight. They've told me that. I'm like, doing something, I'm like, oh, there's Mr. Big. Like, oh, jeez. And I'm like, and he goes, stand up straight. I'm like, I kind of look, and all of a sudden he smiles, and there's all this glitter, like, he's looking out straight ahead. I know he's aware that I'm looking at him, but he's just kind of looking out. They have a great sense of humor. I mean, they just are always, they're joyous. Everything's wonderful to them. And you get in the right state of mind and body that the intervention comes. It's very difficult to talk about when you're playing poker with your buddies, or you're shopping with your best friend. They're like, what? This is crazy. You're in a cult, whatever. But listen, I'm telling you, there's no scrolling that's ever going to compare to that. There's no vacation that's ever going to do it. There's no food that's going to create that kind of mystery in life for you. And I want all of you to experience it. And when the energy is refined, you heard her say what? Where'd she go? You have a PhD, do you not? What is your PhD in? Higher education. Does she look like a type of person during a coherence healing that would yell in front of everybody like, ah! She didn't do that. You know what? She said, I had this lightning bolt of energy came into my body, hit me in my chest, and went up into my throat, and I yelled. How many of you judged a person for yelling in a coherence healing? You never know. You never know what's happening to that person. She didn't want to yell in front of you. She's just an educated person. She's not going to go, blah, off on you. She's not doing it for attention. She was having an experience. Do you understand? And we have no idea what it looks like. We have no idea what enlightenment looks like. You have no idea. And so she had a moment, and that is the awareness of that possibility is what I'm trying to impress upon you. Because people only do the best with what they think is available. And if they're unaware of a possibility, they'll make the same choice. And if the collective becomes aware that that's a possibility, just like an infection spreads amongst a community and creates disease, health and wellness becomes as infectious as disease. And that should be common for us. Wouldn't you agree? But now, let's not turn it into angels and guides, okay? Let's not turn it into something it's not. It's not an angel or a guide, or you don't need anybody like that. Be your own guide. Develop a relationship with the divine in you. Develop a relationship with your heart. Make time for it. Get present with it. Listen to it. Give it your energy. Give it your attention. Be patient with it. Be kind with it. Be caring with it. Lead with it. See where it takes you. See where it takes you. That's what this work is about.